Good morning, iPros agents, and welcome to another session of iPros TV, coming to you live from our iPros TV studio. And today we have some wonderful guests joining us today. We have Keisha Smith, Senior Sales Manager with Humana. Welcome, Keisha.
Thank you.
We also have Ed Martin. A lot of you know Ed Martin already. He's an amazing health plan relationship manager with Humana. Welcome, Ed Martin.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to see you.
You as well.
Awesome. Also, we have Ron Morales, Senior Sales Manager for Los Angeles, that's joining us today. And our topic of discussion is Medicare outreach marketing, a very important topic in the life of a Medicare producing agent, not only to build a book of business, but now that things are opening up, I see people want to be out there more, right, guys?
Absolutely.
People have been cooped up for what, 3 years, so everybody wants to be out and about. You see senior centers opening up. We have some agents on this session that I know are very active in the community, working with food banks, etc. So this is a real important topic. Today, I believe Ed is taking the lead on the presentation. We're going to talk about high-level outreach marketing. I think Ed will schedule something for you in the upcoming months, or maybe pre-AAP, around informal, formal, and educational events. I know that comes up.
There's a little bit of that in here as well.
Wonderful. Yep. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the Humana team and take it from here.
Great. Thank you, Juan. All right. Can everybody see the screen okay? Look good over there?
Wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you, Juan. Thank you, iPros team. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, everyone. My name's Ed Martin. I am the broker relationship manager for Los Angeles County, San Bernardino, Kern, Ventura, and Santa Barbara counties. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys today. As Juan mentioned, we are going to go through a bit of grassroots marketing now that we're all starting to get out and about and able to do that again, and talk about grassroots. Not only that, but events, the different types of events, what you can, what you can't do, and go through some of those guidelines. Okay? But first, going to do a little team intro, because you do have a large support system here with Humana in Southern California. So the slide you see now is our broker relationship team. I'm on the right-hand side there. Above me is my colleague Francine Chong. She handles our multicultural agencies and brokers in terms of our Korean, Chinese agencies. So from a multicultural standpoint, Francine is our key person. We have Trisha Williams, who is my colleague that covers a little bit to my south in Riverside, Orange County, and San Diego counties. And then you see on the screen people that you probably get emails from, whether it's Jared Larson or Ryan Wolford. Jared is directly in line with my areas. And anything you get from Jared, put that in a special spot, because those are going to be important emails specific here to Southern California. Ryan, if you get any emails there, will be specific to like the Orange, Riverside, San Diego areas. Okay? All right. Yes.
I just want to chime in here real quick. As you noted, you're calling out the California teams. Mm-hmm. We do have agents with us that are in other states, Arizona,
perfect,
Colorado. These outreach marketing guidelines apply all states, all counties.
Yep.
So the fact that we have the wonderful California team here doesn't mean that what he's going to talk about today applies in your specific states. So just want to add that.
Yep, the material's not specific to California. It applies all over, but the team locally is who I'm kind of giving you the intro to. But yeah, it does apply. Good point, Juan. All right, so this slide here, we have some sales managers here, Ron Morales and Keisha to my right. We're a big team here. They're responsible for all channels within the market, where myself and Trisha and Francine are responsible for the brokers only. So you see here, based off this screen, you got a lot of folks. And if you're in other areas outside California, you can go to ignitewithhumana.com, and there's a part on there where you can click on, my support, and you can pull up all of in your area. If you're in Arizona, if you're in other areas, you can find your broker relationship managers, broker relationship executives, senior sales managers, all within your area to support you, okay? And Juan, if there's any questions that you see come up throughout, just stop me and we can kind of address any questions that come up.
Sure
Well, here locally and in other areas too, we have our local market offices, and whether you're here in Southern California or elsewhere, we do have market offices all over the place. These are offices that you're going to want to take advantage of locally, whether you're here or say you're in Arizona, for example. These are places where you can get sales kits, promotional items. If you have member issues or things like that, they can help you out with that as well. So there's a lot of utilize the local staff wherever you're located, okay? All right, guys. Well, let's dive into this material. We're going to talk Grassroots Marketing 101. We're just going to do a quick refresher on what that is, talk a little bit about how to build a strategy, and then some resources here at Humana that we make available for you. Okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And how Juan had mentioned, this is going to be really useful information whether you are a veteran broker that's currently out doing grassroots marketing, or you say you're a newer broker and you just want some tips. You can get some good nuggets of information, okay? So grassroots marketing, in a nutshell, what is it? It's virtually, you want to be seen as the local Medicare resource. The little things are truly the big things. If, when somebody thinks about Medicare, you want your name to pop into their head, right? So you want to be seen in your community. And how do you do that? I'm going to go through a couple different steps, different things you can do, different tactics that you can take to make sure that you are building that momentum within your local community and the area in which you sell, so that you can be, position yourself as the local Medicare expert.
And does this also include social media marketing in your presentation?
It doesn't, but we can address that after.
Yeah, because I know through your counterpart Naomi Bean in Arizona, she shared with us some of the libraries you have on your agent portal where you can actually download social media posts. So that's just, to me, it's synonymous. It goes hand in hand. Not only your community presence, but your online presence. So maybe that could be an upcoming session in sharing with them some of your library and some techniques. But I want to encourage the agents also to utilize the social media platforms also to promote themselves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Perhaps maybe we can come back. It's called the Marketing Resource Center within Vantage, which is the agent portal, which you should be familiar with. We do have Facebook, pieces in there. They're CMS approved. They're Humana branded. There's generic pieces that you all can post on your Facebook business pages. And Humana, guess what? Humana can also help you boost those as well.
Yeah, no doubt you're ahead of the game when it comes to other carriers. We have great partners on all the carriers, but I have to say that Humana, not only from a servicing standpoint, but from those tools that you're offering through your portal, I think you guys do a great job. So kudos on that.
Thank you. Yeah. At the end of this presentation, I'll go through some of the other resources within the Marketing Resource Center, because there's a lot of pieces available to you that you may not be aware of. So. All right, so just real quick, grassroots marketing, what is it? It's presence in your local community. It's building relationships that build referrals. And one key piece of advice that I would like to throw out there is that people can't refer business to you if they don't know who you are and what you do. So that's one thing. Make sure that you try to communicate what you do and who you are, and maybe that elevator speech that you might have. Make sure you have that well practiced, so that you can build those relationships, and then people know how to refer business to you. And then just creating events that stimulate conversation. Okay, grassroots marketing really isn't about sales seminars. It's not about direct mail, things like that. It's more about relationship building within the community. Okay. So, the three big things with grassroots: visibility, credibility, and trust. These are, the things that you're going to want to build upon as you're building your credibility within your sphere of influence, okay? And we're going to go through whether it's doctor's offices, pharmacies, senior centers, things like that, some areas where you can make outreach and who to talk to. All right. So the 4 ingredients to building a solid grassroots strategy, it's kind of 4-pronged. First, it's your personal brand. Like I said before, people can't refer business to you if they don't know who you are and what you do, right? So your personal brand, how you present yourself while you're out and about in the public, is key. We have these buttons that we provide also that, ask me about Medicare. I'm always telling the brokers, put those on, just wear them around. I get brokers that say to me, you know what, I was at Costco this past weekend and it was a conversation starter. It's the little things that are the big things, right? And right now you're building your funnel and your pipeline as we get closer to the AEP, okay? Second prong to that strategy is with working doctor's offices and then senior community relationships. Okay, I'll go through some of those those places that you can visit and get to know as well and build relationships, as well as local organization partnerships. And then again, hosting or participating in events. Okay. All right, so building your personal brand. Again, we kind of talked about that. In the end, you're trying to position yourself as the trusted resource. And something that you can say, and this applies to all of whether it's a doctor's office, a pharmacy, senior center, different things that you can use. There's a dialogue you can use. Find out if somebody has a question about Medicare, what are they currently doing with that? That's a good thing you can get started. And then always, when we're talking about any of these places that we go into, it's not what's in it for you, it's what's in it for them, right? So you want to know how you can help them. So we have a motto here at Humana called "It's not about me." So it truly is about everybody else, and then things will come back to you, and you can really be a valuable asset in the community. All right. So more on building your personal brand. You want to have the perception and be knowledgeable. Be reliable, be courteous, active listening, make sure you're answering your calls, do the things you say you're going to do, okay? So you're basically building your integrity and your reputation within the community. Okay, doctor's offices, and senior community relationships. So building relationships out there, a lot of it is who you're going to talk to, right? But before we get there, there's some do's and don'ts that go along with that, like marketing only in common areas, permissible common areas, right? So you can't market where there's going to be patient care given, as an example. Also, another don't is they can't offer scope of appointments, okay, or enrollment applications at the doctor's offices, okay? So I have a slide coming up that kind of tells you how, who you can kind of talk to get into these offices. And again, I'd say the number one thing with doctor's offices, it's not a one and done. Okay, you want to have a strategy where you're going in multiple times. And what is it? I think it's maybe 6 or 7 impressions before you can kind of get the ball rolling. So, make yourself known, start introducing yourself and keep it a consistent activity to be able to begin to see results. And at doctor's office specifically, it's find out who the gatekeeper is. Is it the office manager? Perhaps develop that relationship. See how you can help them. And again, like I said before, ask them, what do they do if somebody has a question about Medicare? What are they currently doing with that? Let them know you want to be that resource. Okay? Also, how do they want to grow their business? How can you help them grow their business as well? Okay? Are there maybe new doctors that you can do open houses with or something? So there's a lot of different ways. So get to know that office manager and develop those relationships. But again, it's a consistent activity, so it's going to pay off for you. And I'm going to kind of go through these pretty quick here because it's a lot of the same activity, the consistency and the messaging applies to all of these. I just want you to see whether it's doctor's offices, pharmacies, the places, and maybe the gatekeeper to start that first step, okay? So at a pharmacy, it's going to be the pharmacist or perhaps the store manager. Get to know them, okay? Senior centers, the manager or the director of activities, right? Because they have a lot of different things. And how can you help specifically at senior centers? They have a lot of activities that possibly cost them money. Maybe it's as simple as bringing a cake for birthday days or donuts or just something to help out. What's in it? How can you help them, right? And add value to what they're doing. Senior housing communities, again, the director of activities, if it's a mobile home park, sometimes they have a central location where you can post things as well. Again, try to get on a regular schedule, perhaps, with them. It's all about relationship building and consistency. So, local organization partnerships, some other ideas, whether it's religious communities, churches, synagogues, mosques, things like that, social clubs, bridge clubs, bingo nights, things like that. See, they're in every community. Google it, look up, see what's happening locally where you're marketing. Military. This is kind of one that's near and dear to our hearts at Humana. If, through the American Legion or maybe a VFW post, if you are a veteran yourself or you know a veteran or you just want to help out veterans, we have, you can reach out to us or our counterparts or our counterparts locally to you, and we can connect you with a veteran executive that can help connect you with folks within the VFW to help out veterans, okay? Also, other professional groups, whether, that have books of business, like some that you may not think of, like realtors. Realtors are good to potentially team up with. CPAs, financial advisors, things like that. Even P&C brokers that have a book of business, because especially with those, I'm sure they get a lot of questions about, as some of their clients are aging into Medicare, what they get those questions, where are they currently sending that information? And you can, like I said, that question applies to all of these, okay? And then look for community-sponsored events, whether it's at farmers markets, health fairs, things like that. If you need any assistance with marketing, or if there's a cost associated with having a table at a swap meet perhaps, reach out to us. If it's in Southern California, reach out to us. If it's in your area, find our counterpart and reach out to them. We're happy to help and collaborate and work with you on that, okay? All right, let's talk events now. There's educational events, and then there's formal and informal events, okay? We're gonna first talk about educational events. So what can you do? So these are educational events are purely, like it says, educational. So you're not talking about any particular plan, benefits, or anything like that. You are either talking about health-related topics, Medicare in general, so purely educational, okay? You cannot engage in any sales activities, and you can't have sign-in sheets, things like that. People can approach you, but it's a good thing to be doing right now, to be getting in front of people as we get close to the AEP, okay? And at this point, I want to talk about, so we do have some tools to offer you to be able to go into, whether it's a mobile home community or a senior housing or a senior center, and do an educational event. It's called Programs in a Box. And if anybody's interested, reach out to us and we can get you more information about that. But it's a tool for you to have a topic to, whether you're talking to the director of activities at a senior housing facility, you can go in and say, you know what, I have this presentation on maybe protecting yourself from scams. These are all general topics that you can come in and do a community service. And again, potentially, build your sphere out there and your pipeline as we get closer to the AEP. But there's topics such as, Technology 101, it's a big one, protecting yourself against scams. There's health topics, healthy brain and healthy sleep, battling the aging brain. There's lots of stuff on nutrition, superfoods, stretching your grocery bill, your grocery dollars, which right now is probably going to be quite an popular topic. Also about health, partnering with your doctor, things like that. So this is called Programs in a Box. So write that down. And if you're interested, we can get you set up. Humana provides the presentation as well as the handouts, which is awesome. All you need to do is get in front of the audience, and there is a short training that you'd have to take. It's like I said, it is very short. It kind of just goes through the process for you, but we give you those tools to be able to go in and do an educational. And at least you'll have something when you go to a senior center. You can say, "Oh, yeah, I have this topic, this topic, this topic. What do you think?" And you have something to bring to them. The next group of events is formal versus informal. So a formal event is a stand-up presentation type event. You're at the front of the room. You're talking to a group of people. That's a formal event. You're talking plan benefits, specific carriers, things like that. Next up are informal events, which are, say you're at a health fair or a swap meet. Those are set up as informal events. Right? It's more of a table type, kiosk type of an event. And at this point, we do have RVs that are little mobile offices. Well, I don't want to steal his thunder, but I'll let Ron talk about our RV that's available to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ed. So we do have a Humana RV in the Southern California market, and we actually have RVs nationwide and in various markets. So if you are listening from out of Southern California, visit our counterparts and talk to them, see if this is available. So one thing Ed talked about is, a lot of grassroots events, but also being seen. And how do you become seen in the community? With so much competition out there, how do you stand out? And we have a great opportunity in Southern Cal to have this Humana RV. We have a driver, so you don't have to drive it. You don't have to worry about that. That goes out there to your events and sets up. So if you have like a food bank, you have a swap meet event, you have a health fair that you're doing, any kind of event where you think you can utilize this RV, this can help you stand out to your competition. Bring people to your table so you can talk to. It's a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more probability of getting that lead and getting a sale. And what we have also with the RV is a special group of helpers to help you out. They're called engagement specialists. These are helpers that are not licensed at all. Their goal is to help you bring people to your table to interact with and hold those people there too. Because as you know, when you're at an event and you're talking to somebody, there's multiple people also standing around, walking, and you may not get to them. And they may walk away, and you may lose that opportunity, and you never had an opportunity to talk to them to see what are they looking for, why they come to your table. So we have these engagement specialists to help you to maintain those people there. So when you're available to talk, you can speak with them, or maybe they may be able to answer some simple questions to get contact information for you. So it's a great tool. The RV inside is retrofitted to have mobile offices in there. So it's actually cubicles inside. So you can actually go inside and enroll people on the spot also. And it's air conditioning, and it's a great marketing tool for you. Now to reserve the RV, you just got to reach out to either Keisha, Ed, myself in the Southern California market, or if one is available in another market that you are working, reach out to the senior sales manager there and see the availability of the RV. But I'd love to engage with the reps in the area, really help you out, build that book of business, get you more leads with this RV.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Quick question: as far as RSVPing for the mobile unit, how far out are you on your RSVPs, or is the calendar pretty open now through AEP?
It's open a little bit for AEP.
Mm-hmm.
There are dates available. Right now, I think it's about 50% full. Last time I checked.
Okay.
But keep in mind, sales never sleep. So even on the weekends, evenings, we're out there. If you got an event that's Saturday, Sunday, afternoons, morning, we can make it fit, as long as the traffic allows us to. Some events don't go all day, so we definitely want to have this RV out there as much as possible. So we'll be happy to look at some dates available. Just shoot us an email. We'll take a look real quick, and we'll adjust if we can.
That's a great tool. I encourage all our agents to take advantage of this resource, of this partnership with Humana. Also, as a reminder, if you're organizing formal, informal events, it's important for you to reach out to broker support to access the tools to follow the events. We have special templates depending on the carrier where you submit for informal and formal events. So definitely get yourself prepped. AEP is right around the corner. I think you should be planning now, calendaring your stuff now, because you throw in the AHIP certifications, you throw in the Health On certifications. You don't want to leave these events for the last minute. So you guys get your calendars out, I see some people on this session that we're developing relationships with different providers in the community. The providers want to get out there and promote themselves. So when you complement that with your content that you were just talking about, Ed, on the importance of eating healthy, etc., and then you throw in the mobile unit as well, I think you have a great combination. So definitely, guys, let's be proactive versus reactive. And I see, again, a lot of names of people that have been wanting these type of resources in their territory. So the invitation's out there. So let's take advantage.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Juan. Yeah, just make outreach, and we'll be happy to help you. So, all right. So a little bit about Informal. You can offer promotional items. You can bring sales materials, things like that. You can't serve meals, can't do things like that. But it's more, if like a camp out type setting, that's going to be that fits in your Informal. Now let's talk about event itself. This is just a few tips for those veterans out there. This might be more useful for some of maybe the newer brokers. But get there early, get your table set up, get your promotional items in order, and to have a good successful event. And one tip is, you see them behind the table here in the picture, but I always say don't go behind the table, because then people are just going to keep walking by. You want to engage with people. You want to stand up, get out front, talk to people, say hello as they're going by. So the more engaging you are, the more successful your event will be. Okay?
iPros also, I'm sorry to cut in there, Ed. iPros also provides different tools. Like we have the prize wheel. We have another marketing piece where you drop in the little chip, and depending on where it drops in the different columns, they get a prize, right? So it allows the agent to be stingy with their promo, because we know when we have these events and we just put the stuff out there on the table, within 10 minutes everything's gone, right? So we do offer those tools, like the prize wheel, for example, that allows you to not only engage during those few seconds that the client wants that promo item. It allows you also to make sure that these resources that Humana is providing, that iPro is providing, they'll last, right? So take advantage of those resources. Again, broker support at iprosteam.com, or our broker support toll-free number. Raise your hand, and we'll go ahead and work with you and get you those tools that you need.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, it's amazing how many people will line up for a pen or something at those prize wheels, and it's a great opportunity to engage the line, as before they get up there. So.
And I know as an agent, having worked for carriers, you're scared, right, when you look at an informal or formal event of engaging with people, and it's okay to engage with prospective prospects, right?
Yeah.
It's just the way you engage, right? And that conversational tone. I know at iPros we have our Medicare branded tablecloths that clearly say on the tablecloth that there's a Medicare logo. You have Medicare questions, so we're already engaging the consumer. So if they're coming to us or they're near, there's some subliminal messaging out there that says that's what we're there for. But again, I think it's important that you mentioned that point, that it's not just about sitting behind the table. Right. It's getting in front of the table, inviting people to talk about healthcare. It's such an important topic, having access to healthcare. And I've always mentioned to my reps and our partners, I don't see them as salespeople, salespersons. They're educators, they're counselors, they're mentors. Sure. So it's okay. Long story short, get in front of the table, engage people. And your book of business will grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I just start
chattering
away.
Perfect.
Sorry, guys.
Correct.
That sounds great. All right, now just some resources that Humana has to offer. And first off, reach out to your local, broker, relationship manager, sales manager in your area. Ask them for help. We have, whether it's promotional items, whether it's takeaways, leave behinds that you can have. But there's some resources for you within our marketing resource center. The picture here shows there's all kinds of giveaways and even polos and things like that, but there's also flyers, there's ads, there's postcards, there's not just Humana branded, because brokers wanted something that was generic because you get a better response rate if it doesn't have a specific carrier on it. So we made that available to you as well. So, and you can personalize it. You can put your picture on there. And yeah, so take advantage of the resources that Humana makes available to you.
Are there? I'm sorry, Ed. Are there print limits, or do you get the master and you as an agent have to print? How does that work?
So it's a great question, one. So if you can print them, have them printed, or we can actually print a small quantity at our local office and have them sent to you as well.
And what are those quantities? 50,
up to 100.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
That's a good number for any event.
Right. So yeah, so just got to take advantage of it. So
Thank you.
you got it. And while we're on the topic of Marketing Resource Center as well, we have a program, a broker reward program called Reach Rewards that gives you marketing money dollars available within your. We'll load that in there for you. Whether you can use it for giveaways, you can use it as in. You can see the slide here. You can actually do mailings right out of the Marketing Resource Center and get it all done. So just lots of tools that we have made available to you guys. Again, it's the Marketing Resource Center with Advantage. If anybody has any questions on how to get there, and like Juan said, maybe we'll do a live demo at some point to go through that. We can do that as well.
And I'll chime in here real quick. I know I get a ton of questions around informal, formal, educational. This is a great opportunity for agents to take yourself off unmute, so that you can ask those hard questions. Right? I always get asked, what do I do? How do I do it? What can I do? What can I do in events? So this is what this forum is for. So I invite you to ask some questions because it helps not only us to learn how we can support you better, but also some of your counterparts that are itching to ask those questions. This is the time.
Mm-hmm. And
go ahead.
Yeah.
Did I cut you right at the end of the?
Yeah, that was a great segue. Well, we couldn't have timed that any better.
All right. So why don't we talk a little bit about? We have a little bit of time about informal and formal. From my experience, Keisha, in informal, people are coming up to you, to the table. Your setup, you have your branding, your messaging,
Right.
versus formal, where you're actually promoting the event
Right.
before you can take that. You can take RSVPs.
Right.
It's a classroom setting.
Right.
Right.
That's where I think the difference is. Can you talk a little bit about your experience on that?
You know, the informal, we call them sales camps, just to keep it simple. There's a skill set to it. And first, I want to offer to your agents also, if there's anyone that is not sure how to handle those sales camps, those informals, please reach out, because there's definitely a skill set to it. The sales camp, the informal, will allow you to have information for multiple plans, multiple partners, if you choose to. And you'll find that that's the most common. The formal seminar, again, it's just like you said, it's usually advertised, it's a more formal setting. You tend to see more of those during the AEP season. The informal you'll see during lock-in. Again, you'll see agents at supermarkets, swap meets, out in the community. Just lost my train of thought, but you'll see them at senior centers. We're approaching the season right now where you're going to see a lot of health fairs, right? Health fairs are going to start to happen, and then you'll see those informal settings, right? Because they'll be at the health fair, and they'll have their tables out, and they'll be engaging the community. So again, if any agents are not sure, if you have any new agents that would like some expertise in that, because it truly is a skill set. When I was an agent, we used to speak only to people that we saw that were elderly. But now it's a different environment, because so many people are taking care of their parents. So many demographics are living with their parents and
The
supporting
caregivers,
them.
right?
The
What they
caregivers,
call the caregiver.
right? And so now you almost have to step back and say, is there anyone in your home that has Medicare, or do you know anyone
Yes.
that has Medicare? So I'd love to help anybody. We have tons of experience up here.
Yeah, I know it's so important, the caregivers that sometimes we overlook, but I completely agree with you. the majority of us are blessed that we still have our parents with us or our
Yes.
grandparents around. So definitely ask those questions. So we know that for formal and informal, you have to file the events
Yes.
ahead of time.
Yes.
They're going to ask for the name of the event, the key contact numbers, proposed hours, English, whether it's English, Spanish, or whatever, threshold languages that
Absolutely.
we have folks online that speak their own language from their own country. But bottom line, you have to file. Then we look at the educational events. Educational events, we don't have to file.
Right.
We don't file those. And Ron, I'll ask you. This is a more generic presentation, right? We're not honing in on any particular plan. It's a general educational. What is Medicare? How do you qualify for Medicare, et cetera?
Absolutely, it's like a Medicare 101. Not really getting into plan specific, just really talking about original Medicare, what that all entails, this stuff called penalties that come with Medicare. What is Part D? What do you need? What are the options out there in regards to your Medicare options? It's really just a generic, very basic understanding of Medicare. Not going too much into details of what's available in the areas, but it's really when you get that red, white, and blue card, what that does signify. And so that way everyone has a baseline understanding exactly what the Medicare coverage is, and they can make an educated decision on what routes they need to go after that meeting. Because not everyone fits in the same scenario. Your counterparts, your neighbors, they have different health necessities or different needs that they're looking for. And with an educational meeting, at least you get a clear understanding what is the basic coverage that I get from Medicare, and then you make your decisions on where you want to go after that.
Yeah, it's great input. And I would say in closing, don't be afraid of events. I know in my 30 years plus, and I'm aging myself in this industry, I've never come across an agent that has been completely removed, terminated from events. If you miss a certain component, what I've seen are corrective action plans, where CMS will come back and go through the carrier, and the carrier then goes through the FMO, through the iPros, and says, hey, the agent did great, but they forgot to put the prescription formulary on the table, for example.
Right.
Or they forgot to this component. So it's always an educational perspective that they're coming from, right? What they want to make sure is the consumer, the Medicare beneficiary, truly understands the programs available and what they're getting into, right? So I would say to all the people, all our agents on this session is, don't be afraid of events. Get out there. It's okay to let people know that you are a Medicare advisor, Medicare consultant, Medicare specialist. If you miss any points, the worst case that's going to happen is a corrective action plan that you need to mention this, right? Like the the star ratings, for example, right?
Right.
And I think at this point our agents understand where you're crossing the line and potentially putting your license at risk, right? But just a normal, informal, formal event where you're speaking truthfully of the benefits, the qualifications, and you use the right words, you'll be okay.
The more events you do, the more opportunity you get to be in front of more people, the more opportunity you get to help more people, which creates sales.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get those referral cards. Ron, Ed, Keisha, thank you so much for being part of this session of iPros TV. Humana has always been a valued partner, continues to be a valued partner, and we just look forward to continue to grow together. So thank you so much. Look forward to our next session where we can dive deeper on some of those other tools that you offer. It's like social media marketing, I think would be a great opportunity. And we also have our marketing specialists in-house that can offer some recommendations. Content so important, and it's just such a valuable tool that you can run a campaign for as little as $5 a month, $20 a month, and just put your name out there, and it pays off. So maybe that's something we can touch on our last session. So I don't see any questions in the chat. We have a quiet group today, but thank you everybody who attended. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Rodrigo, who's here in the backstage helping making this happen. So we appreciate you and all our support and all our marketing team. So we look forward to the next session. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.